Great morning and afternoon or evening, depending upon where you are. Welcome to How to Start Your Financial Coaching Practice and how to do that in 8 weeks. And so I want to say thank you so much for entrusting me to be a part of your journey, as well as taking a leap of faith and stepping out on your own. So this is all about faith walk, a journey. I believe everything in divine order, and I'm so honored that our paths have crossed. And we're going to dive right in. So let me tell you what you can expect today and from these weekly live sessions. So these sessions are meant to be an opportunity for you to, one, ask questions, two, create conversation, and then three, get the education. So what we'll be learning and what we'll be talking about every week are topics that will help you build your business. Some of it is not always obvious as a business building topic. Like we're going to be talking about mindset this week, and you'll be able to consider where you are in your journey with respect to an entrepreneur's mindset. A lot of times we transition, right, from an employee to an entrepreneur, and that requires a mindset shift. So we're going to talk about mindset and be focused on fear and taking action and what it is that we need. And then we'll focus on some goals. And I believe, especially as a coach, and I mean, you also know, goals help us get things done. And they also help us define what it is that we want to accomplish. And so we start this training with mindset and goal setting so that you can begin to see yourself in practice. You can begin to see yourself living out the vision that I believe God has put within you to serve. And so, whatever that might look like, we may need to do some mindset work, and we may need to get you to a place where you're confident, which we will have some exercises to help you with that. Because a lot of times we question, do I have what I need? Am I credentialed enough? But I don't know people. How am I going to read? Like all of that. And it happens throughout the journey. I've been an entrepreneur for over 10 years now, and I still question if I'm good enough at times. It is the craziest experience, but it happens no matter where you are in the journey. And so that's why I want to start here so you can begin to build the systems and use tools that will help you combat that whenever you encounter that fear, that doubt, that lack of confidence. I mean, I've been in that mode since launching this training. Is anyone going to buy? Is anyone going to take a look? Is anyone going to click on it? It happens. So believe me when I say it doesn't stop. So what I like to do is just open the floor and see what your thoughts are. This is day one. I know there had been an email or two sent around your why. Would love to hear your why and for you to share out now if you feel comfortable. Again, this is a safe space for you. It's a space where you can ask questions, be vulnerable, get feedback, and then we will coach. We will coach around the topics. I will share more about the topics that you'll encounter and engage every week. But really, as we get started, you'll come here having thoughts, having questions, having some inspiration. And this is where you can share out about it, get the feedback you need, get clarity, and build. So with that, any questions for me? Any thoughts, comments? What's coming up for you right now? Anyone want to share out?
Well, can you hear me? Okay, well, good morning. And I'm really excited about the prospects of what you're going to share. And this has been a long process, a long mental process for me in terms of taking that leap. Um, I've been working in the world of finance for 25 plus years, and I've worked for a variety of companies. And when you and I have both worked for Merrill Lynch, I saw that you've done that. And so that gives me a little faith that you can have some perspective in terms of what this business is about, and what it's not about. But anyway, the why is really getting at the heart of really your purpose, in more than just what you do for a living, but who you are. And I've done a lot of thinking about that because I also read a book, Start with Why. I can't remember the author, but it was really more focused on organizations and businesses identifying, why they do what they do, because more than likely organizations talk about what they do and how they do it. So I won't go down the list of things in that book, but much of what you've said so far has resonated with me. And I think I need the foundation of experience that perhaps you can share with us, about starting from the beginning and making it happen. So my why has to do more with um, pursuing the things that I value, um, pursuing things that I want to pursue, and not the things that my organization says that they want of me. So what I embrace and I uh, really value, uh, professional development, education, but even more than that, doing things that are going to feed not others, but also my spirit in terms of having value and delivering on something that's going to be impactful. So I won't really bore you all um, with where I am in terms of my career. I'm stable and I'm solid, so that makes it even more difficult to
Mm.
make the transition. So if I were in a circumstance where, perhaps uh, things were unstable, um, it might be easier. So I'm moving from a sense of comfort, which is also a trap. And but I really want the freedom to be the professional that I want to be, to help and serve the people that I want to work with in the way that I want to do it, and then free up not only my time, um, in terms of being obligated to the things that really I
Mhm.
don't see an end to, um, and use that time really for my personal, growth and development and family and all that stuff. Anyway, I can be long-winded, so that's my why.
Thank you. Thank you, Carl. No, and you've touched on so many great points. I mean, the time freedom, the thought freedom, and you're right. When you go from a place of security and stability, it is a different transition. I know I was laid off when I started my very first business. I was like, what else do I have to lose? Like, this is can't go any more low than this. So, so it was a different place. It was more like, hey, the world is my oyster. And so I can imagine that is a bit of a different transition, and you don't have to worry about certain things that most people start out with, probably those financial concerns or just those basic what ifs. But there's still a great deal of concern. As you were speaking, it was like grass is never greener on the other side. And so, even coming from a place of stability, the transitions, like you said, those basic transitional mindsets and the foundation that needs to be built now will be different, and it'll be a set of challenges unto itself. But that's what we're here for, to support each other in what that looks like as we build. And really, it's a journey. So, the great thing that I will be able to share is what my journey has been and how I've been full time and part time in my business, how I shut down the business at one point, went back to work, and because of the conflict of interest, left the business alone, took on the job full time. And then got laid off or quit or resigned, whichever part of the journey that was, and then came back full time. And so it is a journey. And I love that flexibility. I love that I have something to come back to. I love that when I'm like, I'm over it right now, I can go get a job if I choose. I love that some employers that I've worked for have reached back out to me because they knew I had a business and was like, listen, I want you to apply to this position we have. I know you have your own shop, but you're the only one that I could think of that I know the quality of work that you do and you have the time. And I thought that was so interesting. I said, thank you, Father, because that's why I do what I do so that I own my time. But that's a value to employers who know your work. And that was a previous employer. So here I was in my business turning down security and stable income every 2 weeks because I was like, wow, that's a great opportunity. But if I take it right now, at least, what about the stuff I've been building in my business? Now I'm going to put that to the back burner. What if it takes off and I don't have the time to give these people? And so that mindset piece is going to be important. And that's what we're going to be diving into today. So, what I'm going to do is ask if there's any more sharing out. Alexandria, if you,
Yeah,
let's do
definitely, for
it.
sure. I appreciate Mr. Carl sharing. Definitely some pieces resonated and connected with me, but um, the why piece, the personal values piece was really my starting point, the nucleus of a lot of what I feel like I'm branching off of. I didn't have any. I think all these years, I've never really paid attention to what personal values were and how they're such a driving force and to every single thing that you're committed to, your engagements, your relationships, everything. And I would say just in a matter of, I think 2019, I started to realize I was actually asked that question at a financial coaching event that I went to, or a workshop, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to answer it. I was stumped, and that was the first time that I was stumped on on a question that was a personal question that I should have been able, I feel like, to answer. So that was really the moment where I started to really think about, wow, I don't even know my values, and I need to. And when I say that, I mean I could say, I value family. And I had quote unquote generic values that I wrote down because I felt like those were answers that others needed to hear, but they weren't answers that I needed to hear. And I spent some time with that. And because I learned that topic, or I was addressed that introduced that topic around your values in a financial coaching setting, it really connected the two for me around money and your values and having a financial identity, having a financial presence, having a financial stance. Not how is it that this thing that's in our wallets we're so disconnected from, and it's ruling us in a crazy way that it's affecting us mentally, physically, emotionally, everything, and we're so disconnected from it. So that is something that I really took some time, and I'm still taking the time to understand it. And then that's where I started to really dive back into my work history. I know, Carl, you were sharing a lot about just some touch points, and just made me think about, what have I done? What have I done thus far before I even got to that question around values? And I'm like, wow, like I've done a lot. Like I feel like we all done a lot, and that we never took time to go back and look at it and connect to what we've done. And I've worked in so many different settings in the educational system, in high schools. I've worked in elementary schools. I've worked in for the sheriff's department in Alameda County in San Francisco, and I'm facilitating in the job that I'm in now. And I found that the root to all the positions that I've had, the connecting point was facilitation.
Mm.
And I'm trying to make the connections here and really dive deep. And I've been to so many trainings. I'm probably trained out, and I tried to hone back in. What opportunities have I landed upon that I took advantage of, that allowed me to grow, and how can I constantly see it? How can I constantly recognize what I've done? And that imposter syndrome. I learned about that this year. And it's just, I'm tackling that. I've gotten books to kind of combat that and quotes to remind me of to break that cycle. Um, but I'm excited for this opportunity. I did the financial fitness coaching. I'm currently in the program now, so I'm learning a lot through that, and so I'm doing a lot of things simultaneously. But I know at the end they're all going to mesh and join together. So I feel like it's information that I'm able to tap into, different people I'm able to tap into to still get me to the result or the outcome that I'm looking for. And I'm excited for what's to come. And I know Dr. Reese, you also have the FFC, and you know, I'm looking towards someone who has achieved something that I'm going to achieve, but then also seeing how they set themselves in that space, and show up in that space.
Mm-hmm.
I I do believe like as I said, I went through all the books and materials that I've gotten.
Yep.
I do believe I'm a servant, and how I steward my money, how I steward myself, how I steward period. I think it's an opportunity to share with other people who may not ever have gotten the question of what are your values?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a financial identity? What is it? Get in
Right.
front of the money aspect. Don't let it run you. Like, how can you get in front of it? And it's leading me to honestly tackling education or financial education in high schools. And that's what I'm doing right now. I am in my area in Contra Costa County here in California. And it's, I'm trying. I'm not trying, I'm doing it.
You're
And
just,
I need to
mm,
word usage, like you're saying, the mindset. We don't even think about it. And I'm invested in that. I'm invested in whatever your mind is doing, the other pieces will fall into place. And I really do believe that it's reshaping of the mind, or training of the mind, and really putting yourself there and providing tools to combat the things that you've been telling yourself for years.
mm-hmm.
um, that's where I'm at. So I appreciate this opportunity. I'm excited to learn from everyone, um, for this next 8 weeks, and learn from you, Dr. Reese, and just I'm curious what how it's gonna unfold in the next 8 weeks. So I'm excited.
Yay! Well, you said a lot that has resonated, and thank you, Father. The parts that you mentioned that are important to you, we're gonna cover. So again, thank
Hmm.
you, Father. Everything in divine order, because when I built this training, I built it based on my journey, but I built it based on the journey that was required to get the foundation.
Hmm.
And I don't come from um, any, well, interestingly enough, my father was an entrepreneur. He passed away when I was very small, so I didn't know him much. But when you think about even our journeys and our mindsets and our training, you know, I was trained to go get a job. So,
Hmm.
that's what most of us do, and we do it well. And to that point about being in so many capacities and different roles over time, there is this thought around, all right, I'm doing this work, I'm getting results, and I know how to do what I do. There's a process by which I get results. So I start tapping into that. I mean, especially in our work, you meet with the client, you do the client work, you follow up with the client, even if it's an institutional client, even if the client is another business unit within your organization, there's this same process, that we
Hmm.
do to get the results that we're seeking with our clients. And over time, I'm like, those are systems, and businesses are built on systems. And so where's that training and understanding? And I realized I didn't have that. No one was teaching me that. I wasn't trained to be an entrepreneur. So everything that I know from trial and error, from trainings, from other business coaches that I've invested in. And every aspect of that, of my journey, is in this training. And I love what you mentioned about the mindset piece, and everything else will follow. I believe mindset plus behavior equals outcome. And you'll see that within this first week's curriculum and what that means for you, and just getting yourself in a space where you can understand that you do create what this business or practice is going to look like. You create the results that will show up in this business or practice. And then when you touched on values, that I just was like, oh, this is awesome, because
Mhm.
that's literally going to translate into your mission and your vision. And we're going to cover that within the next week as well, or within the next 2 weeks. And so everything that you're thinking and that's coming up for you right now will be required of you in the curriculum. So
Mhm.
I'm honored that it's coming up. It's on the surface. It's right there, because you're going to start tapping it. And then this week, or maybe next week, I have to look at the curriculum again, which I'm going to share in a second. You will encounter these prompts and these exercises that will help you to begin to see your practice. Like, what does my practice look like? And then at the end of our training, or I might switch some things around this year, but there will be more practical business building exercises that you will know how to start your sole prop. You will know, the formation. You will have a EIN. You will, so there's gonna be the business side that will address, and again, you'll ideally leave the training having your business set up on paper. Whether you really start to push it or not, that's not important. It's having it positioned, being set up so that now you stay ready. It's the new year, and what we do, financial education, financial counseling, financial coaching, is finally on the map. Being a financial consultant outside of an investment banker, a financial advisor, a financial planner. We know those roles. Our clients even know those roles. But what do they know about them? They know they can't afford them. They know that they're not for them. They know
Mhm.
them, at least the clients that I serve. They're like, I don't even know why I would go to a financial advisor. So the opportunity for us right now to be independent, again, whether it's part-time or full-time, remember, it's a journey. So transition according to your journey. I just so happen to get laid off all the time, so it didn't make a difference for me. God was like, let me just take that from you and figure out what you're going to do. Let's see. So I could have gone back to sales, but I realized it was sales. I'm like, man, financial advising is just sales. Like, and then I got to lead a client. They can't come with me, and it's all good. So you learn in the journey. But that's the point, is that now you've got something of your own that you can flip the switch on or flip the switch off whenever you want. It's
Mhm.
positioned so you're ready officially. I mean, to be able to do business with the state, to be able to do business with the city, the county, especially
Mhm.
now on those local levels where the dollars are flowing in for people to get support, financial coaching support. People, these organizations know what that is now. Nonprofits are tapping into us. They want us to write curriculum. They want us to do workshops. They want us to provide one-on-one. Some of them need us to come in and consult. And then completely on the independent side, the blogging, the content creation, the setting up programs, the offering products and services, and then any B2B business, partnering with financial advisors and planners. They don't have our skill set. They don't do what we do. They're very technical. They're on the harder side of our business. That softer side, the client nurturing side, they don't do that. They don't get paid
Mhm.
to do that. So it's not even in their model to spend that kind of time educating. They don't get paid to educate. So now we are perfectly positioned to decide how we show up, where we show up, with whom we show up. As both of you have mentioned, it is so personal now. You get to build a business completely based on the lifestyle you want to lead personally, how much money you want to make out of this venture, and then based on your professional goals. Now you get to tap other professions, other industries. I mean, I'm just like, the opportunities that we have are abundant because every industry needs us. And then our own industry needs us. Just imagine all of the people that work at financial firms that don't even have a basic financial education, right? If we were to measure their literacy, it's probably really low. And that's the market I tried to tap initially in this business, where it's like, hey, you're, who was that? New York Life, and you've got agents and you've got back office people, but none of your back office people know anything about money and what is up with their financial situation. So even the firms aren't doing this work, they don't get paid to do this work. This isn't their model. So now we get to create a business model that comes in and supports everyone, no matter what income level. Millionaires need coaches too. They just think that it's their advisors. But when we go and partner with the advisors and make our value known on how we can service their millionaire clients, now you've got millionaire clients. So it's really based upon what you want. And I want you to start envisioning, seeing yourself walking, living in your practice, talking in your practice. When you close your eyes, who are you serving? When you pick up that phone, who are you talking to? What deals are you closing? And so that's what the next few weeks are going to be about. You really getting yourself in a position to see that happening for you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to the actual portal where the curriculum lives. If you can see my screen, give me a thumbs up. Awesome. All right, so this is the course curriculum as it may look to you. Again, sometimes or not, because I get logged in as um, the creator of the course, I don't always feel the same vibe, but I think this is what it looks like for you as well. And what I like to do is just kind of walk you through what you can experience here if you haven't already. So at the beginning of the course, you'll find just a brief intro, what you can expect. Whenever you see a quiz, because I haven't really set it up as a formal quiz, you may get like 0 out of 1 or something like that. Don't pay attention to it. It's just, I'm not using the quizzes as they were designed to be used. So no worries there. And then you'll see some of the comments from previous students, which I think is awesome. You'll also have access to the WhatsApp group, and that group over the years has been valuable, not only for me to communicate with you on the go, ask questions, but it's also another place that I share resources. I provide encouragement from week to week. Other students interact with each other, and there could be some previous students who will be a part of this cohort as well, because as you may know, with lifetime access, you get to tap this training every time I offer it. Every year that I offer the training, you've got it for free. And so that's the great thing. Even some of the previous training participants were like, so, I mean, they know they have lifetime access, but they didn't realize really I get to join every time for free. Yes, you do. And so as I update the curriculum, as I make any refreshes, as I add new tools and support, you get that and you can tap it whenever you like. So this is where you'll find just a little bit of the introduction, what you can expect, how you move through the course. It's very simple. I love this platform. And so what I want to get to here is the fear. You're going to learn about fear, and I believe fear is false evidence against reality. Um, I like that acronym because whenever I experience fear, it's here. It's never physical. It's not in front of me. And so I have to remind myself that in this journey, the fears show up every day. And it's always about putting yourself out there. You're literally putting yourself out there for the world to know who you are in a capacity beyond self. You're now creating this separate entity, independent of the formation, but you're creating an entity that exists in the world, a way for you to show up to serve people outside of self. And there's a lot involved with that. And so fear is normal and it's not reality. So you'll explore what that is for you, and you'll do that through Tim Ferriss. Is anyone familiar with Tim Ferriss? Feel free to type it in the chat if you are. If you're not, he's the author of The 4-Hour Work Week, and it's a really great book. We're actually reading that book in my mastermind group. I have a mastermind group called the Profitable private practice mastermind. So it's another space for us financial educators, coaches, counselors, consultants, and we meet once a month about our businesses. So once you actually have your business, you can consider joining the mastermind group. It is another space that we use for business development, for encouraging each other, really for accountability, and for exploring what our businesses are looking like month to month, and ideally to increase our profit. So um, again, spaces and communities where we exist in particular is what I'm really about, and then sharing that with each other so that we know we exist. Um, so Tim Ferriss does a really great job of breaking down this concept of fear. And ever since I was introduced to it, I just thought it was very valuable. So you're going to have a chance to engage that content and dissect fear. And I thought the way that he did it was brilliant because it really gets at the fact that it's only in your head. It's not before you. And when you start to question yourself, whether that's on a qualifications level, whether that's as a business person, whatever it is, he's going to help you dissect that fear until it literally exists no more. And you'll start to use that system as a way to do that quicker and quicker every time. You'll recognize the fear as it comes up in your spirit. And with this tool, you'll begin to dissect it in your mind every time. And the more we do this stuff, the better we get at it. So again, that's why I want to give you tools and systems, because it's not going away, and it's going to come up in your journey, no matter what part of the journey you're in, no matter how long you've been an entrepreneur, you'll experience it, and you'll have this tool to help combat that. So Tim Ferriss will help with dissecting the fear, and then you're going to engage. Here we are with the mindset plus behavior equals outcome. What it really means to take action. I remember being in business and understanding that if I don't kill, I don't eat. And that became very real, right? Especially in those early days. It was like, so where's the money going to come from for that? And because I am a woman of faith and because I do serve, there were things coming to me that I didn't even know about. And I'll never forget living in Brooklyn in my 2x2, paying $700 a month. And I'm like, oh gosh, I need 500 extra dollars. And the woman that I had been helping with her nonprofit, just helping her get it started and with marketing and whatever she asked me to do, I would help her with. She sent me a check. I got mail that day, and it was a check for $500. I said, thank you, Father. You know what my needs are. But it also taught me that in the journey of entrepreneurship, there will be those moments where you're like, all right, where's this coming from? And then bam, something that I did a while ago, the seed that I planted a while ago has now took harvest, and here's what I need. And that happens so often in the journey that I started to realize everything's not because of me. Everything that I produce and that I get in this business is not always going to be based off of the work that I've done. That's when faith comes in. That's when it's a faith walk. So that's important, but your actions matter, whether they are directly impacting your business. So those income generating activities, because again, if you don't kill, you don't eat. If you don't put it out there, no one knows. If you don't put it out there that you're doing this, how can someone buy it from you? So action is going to be so important. And the other piece to that is once we get to it, we spend a lot of time creating the products, the services, the offers. But boy, oh boy, have I learned you have to spend even more time marketing what you build. And that is a formula, that is a science. And so to this day, I'm still learning that. I am still learning that I have to put more into marketing what I do than building it. Building it should be the least of our time because we should build, market, and then let the market tell us how to make it better. And so these are the things that I've learned that I wish somebody told me That trial and error was just my best teacher, but now I can share these little bits of tidbits. So taking action in your business is going to become so important because it's the only way that you will get anything done. So you'll encounter some mindset work here, some prompts to help you understand what your own money mindsets are, where they come from. And again, you'll see some of the previous students and what was on their mind at the time of this exercise. Then we're going to talk about support. And this is where, just having other people in the journey with you who understand the journey. Because I remember at the beginning of my journey, I, I mean, from my mentors first, why would you start a business helping poor people? I will never forget that. And they're all financial advisors and successful and white men and Asian men, not Black women who were young. So for them, it really was like, why are you doing this? And you have a degree from Princeton. People don't always understand what you're doing. And as I learned, because I'm a woman of faith, they don't have to. I have a vision and I believe God gave it to me. I believe everything he gives me is for me to do. So a part of it was obedience, a part of it was naivete, and a part of it was just like, that's my vision and that's what I want to do. And those are the people I feel I want to serve. So there you have it. And people don't understand that. And sometimes when people don't understand, they don't support. So I didn't feel very supported in my decision to start this kind of a practice, to start this kind of a business. And because it wasn't lucrative in the beginning, no one saw how I was going to make money from people who didn't have money, but they didn't have my vision. So having support and like-minded support is going to be important. Those times when you just don't feel like it, those times when you feel like you're the only one. Now you have other people in the journey who you can tap, and we can be support to each other. We could be accountability partners or just a listening ear. And as cliche as those things may sound, in the journey, it is so awesome to know that you're not the only one experiencing all that you're going to be experiencing. And then just having the resources, we share out, we have access to things that others don't. So because we're focused on a specific type of business that we're building. So whether it's a system, a tool, a resource, I can share that with you. I mean, even just being at AFCPE and getting access to, what was the name of this group? They do publications for our industry, and I forget her name, but I'm looking at her samples right now. And I thought to myself, gee, like, it's great to just know that I could create my own white label samples and products with financial information on them. I mean, I do have tools that I've built, but that's a great resource. And now I can share that with other financial coaches who are developing their own content and get their stuff made. Like, those kinds of things are so helpful to us because, again, people don't really know what we do anyway. They don't know what we do. Like my family, they kind of know I help people with money, but do they really know what I do? No. So they can't really help me when it comes to referrals sometimes because they don't really know what I do. Other professionals think I'm competition. So you run into that. Nobody wants to share resources. Nobody wants to share the goods because they look at you as competition. I'm a woman of faith in God. I'm abundant. What's for me is for me. So what's for you is for you. You can't step in my lane and do more than I can. It's my lane. I can't step in yours and do more than you can. And then I can't reach everybody. And I don't want to reach everybody. I'm meant to serve who I'm meant to serve. You're meant to serve who you're meant to serve. So those mindsets really impact how you make waves in this journey. Who gives you things? Who doesn't give you things? So support will become more and more important. The great piece to that is that in this training, you have 2 private 30-minute sessions that you can book with me. And in the past, students have literally used these sessions across the board. One student, I remember, she had an opportunity. She was building the business through the training. And she's like, okay, I want to get in front of the school districts, but I don't even know how to have a conversation with them. Like, what if they start talking money off the bat? So we used her sessions to just do some mock conversations, talking through the language. If they come with this question, how to take control of the conversation and redirect. Because again, you're in control every step of this process. And so when you meet someone who wants to know more about your business, even if it's not set up already, I want you to have language and skill and technique to talk about it, add value to that conversation. So now that person can go and talk about you, but to redirect and take control at any moment that you feel you're not comfortable or ready to go there. If it's about money or how much do you charge? Oh, well, that's dependent upon the client need. And then you just stop and people are like, oh, okay. Yeah, but I love to, have a consultation or share my contact information so that person can reach out to me. And then once we, have a conversation, I can assess their needs and better understand if I'm a good fit for them. Bam, you ain't said nothing about money. You ain't talked about pricing, but you've taken control. You're confident and it's simple, no sweating, no, no showing fear or lack of it's. So that's what this training is going to be about. And you can use those coaching sessions however you choose. If it's just questions and grilling me, let's do it. If it's specific to your business and your marketing plan or your product, however you choose to use these 30-minute coaching sessions is up to you. It's a safe space. No question is a stupid question, and they're for you. So use this to schedule over the next 8 weeks, time with me. And that's that. So whenever you're ready, you come back here, you schedule it. It's under lack of support. It'll live there. And once you schedule it, I will get the notification. So feel free to schedule both of your sessions now. Sometimes students schedule one up front and then another towards the end of the training. Just make sure that you schedule them before February 19th. Okay. So that's more support that you have, and looking forward to giving you that support. The next section, so yes, I did do this properly. So you will also encounter goal setting. So mindset and goal setting is going to be the focus over the next week. And this piece is important because we want to start building a business that's based off of your lifestyle. You know, no one taught me that either. So I just did what I knew to do. And whether that was from a business coach or a book or just what I saw, I start building based off of what I knew. But once I start being in my business, because we have a duality, and this is the world of entrepreneurship, we will be in the business because we are the talent. So we will be the business and have to find time to work in the business because we're the face of the business. We're the brand of the business initially. But then you'll have to find time to work on the business. And that's being more objective, right? That's the business owner. That's the entrepreneur. So you will begin to live in duality, and time management will become important. We'll talk about that as well. But time management impacts your life. So the time that you spend in the business, being the talent, closing the deals, teaching, coaching in front of clients will require a certain portion of your calendar. And then there's you, the person, and your life and your family and what's important to you outside of the business. It's only 24 hours in a day. So goal setting is important from the personal perspective. I knew that I don't like working on Mondays. I just never did. Having a job, I never liked working on Mondays. And now that I have the freedom to say when I'm going to work, I'm not going to work on Mondays. And that's what I do. So in my business, in my practice, I don't take client calls on Mondays. And it's awesome because here's what happened. I would forget, or just Mondays, right? Something always happens when you're trying to get back to the work. No matter what it was, I either double booked or I forgot or I didn't add it to my calendar. So it was there, but it wasn't on my calendar. So it was just, and then it's Monday. So it sets the tone for the week. It did a lot. And I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like how I felt when I did. Um, miss stuff. And, you know, Mondays weren't good for me. So I don't deal with clients on Monday. I don't talk to people on Monday. And then I realized I need time to do the work. Like if I'm always setting meetings and appointments with clients, when am I going to do the work for them? It just became so obvious, like this is a lot more than I thought. And again, no one told me to set time in the calendar to do the work and meet with the client and do business development, trial and error. But now I can tell you, you're going to need those blocks of time, working one-on-one, working on the business, doing business development. Where does that leave for your personal life? So we've got to build that from the beginning, not at the end, which is what I learned. So that's why we focus on it now. I want you to start thinking about like the things you don't want to do. Don't do them. Like so often we're conditioned to just tough it out and to do. Not over here. I want to serve and show up in the way that I want to serve and show up. And I don't want to do things that I don't want to do. So this is your opportunity to make that plain. What are your personal goals in life? And how will that funnel into your business? What are your professional goals in life? And I see that both of you have read the 4-Hour Work Week, so that's great because I think this is going to be helpful to the journey as well. You know, professionally, what does this business mean for you? I know, Carl, you're credential. You got all of the letters, right? So it's like, what more do you want to accomplish in your professional life that you can do in this business? Is that speaking more? Is that producing a book? Is that writing? Is that getting more credentials? Is that getting licensed in a different way? Is that setting up a full service firm? I know that's where I want to go back to being a full service firm. I worked at Merrill Lynch, which for me was the best training on the street. And that was the first entry into my career. And I always knew I want to own my own Merrill. I want my own Merrill Lynch, where I serve clients who don't have 250,000, who have 250. And I give them great service and value, and I help them change their life. So what is that for you? You know, this business is going to do a lot. It's going to put you out in the map differently. Networking is going to be differently because now you'll start to market your business and less of where you work. Nobody cares where we work. We can't do anything for people through our jobs for the most part. We don't have no hookups that we could give people. But when you start your own business, it's different. And who you know, you'll be connected to through your business. That's different. And so it's just the world is going to shift now. How we talk about what we do and the accomplishments that we get come through the business and our brand. So what are those goals? And for me, it was things like speaking more, you know, getting more connected to colleges and universities, or getting more connected to the employee department at big firms or big companies. You know, I see financial coaching as an employee benefit that employers can write off through their benefits package. Add me in there, you know, give me 75,000, 100,000 as a benefit to your employees, and let me show up and coach them virtually, telecoaching, you know, whatever that might look like. How do you want to show up in the business? And then your profit goals. We talking about money. I'm not doing this for charity. I'm not doing this because of the kindness of my heart. I'm in business to make money, to take care of my family and to add value. So let's get comfortable with talking numbers. I remember so many of my students, they didn't like this part. They didn't know like this was the part of fear for them. I don't want to charge people. They can't afford me. The clients I work with don't have money. So how am I going to charge them? Nope, mindset work. That's why we start with the mindset, because people pay for what they value. Our clients may be poor or low income or moderate income, whatever your client avatar is, but they have money and they spend it. And you should get some of that, especially for the value that you're going to add to their life. And that's our value. And that's a mindset training that People pay for what they value, and I'm valuable. So therefore, people should pay for what I do for them. And it's a value. I'm not no longer exchanging my time for money. That was the employee mindset. But as we come to our numbers, you will learn how to calculate your value based on the hours in the day. We got to start somewhere. But once you learn what that hourly rate might be for you and your practice, we add a premium. And I like to call that the me premium. And that's the value. Nobody can work with a client the way I can. So when that client meets with me, they're going to pay for the education that I've got. They're going to pay for the trainings that I invested in, like this one. They're going to pay for the credentials I sat through and the exams I studied for. That's why they pay me, because they didn't want to do that for themselves. They didn't want to learn more about money. So I did, and now they got to pay me for what I know and what they didn't want to do. That's value. And you can't put an hourly rate on that. I mean, if we literally added up all the trainings we invested in, our college educations, the degrees, the designation, and divided it by X and came out with a result, okay, add a little premium on that. And then it's me. And I'm unique and special. And so people have got to pay for that. And they do. So we're going to learn what that is. And as you can see, you're going to dive right into it within this first week. And there's a reason for that. Everything in divine order, because I want you to start thinking about your numbers from jump. You know, do you want to make an extra $500 a month? And that's easy, relatively, for everyone is always a relative comparison. But $500 is easy, right? You might say, I need a $50 offer. I get 10 people to buy 500 in its most simple form. And then you might say, well, I want to make 5,000. All right, well, 500 at 10 or 1,000 at 5. You've got several ways to skin this cat. And that's what I want to open your world to. You might sell a $50 ebook, sell it 100 times. There you go. There's so many ways to skin this cat. How do you want to show up? How do you want to make the money? And how much do you want to make? And you get to decide. I know in the beginning, I just had to prove to myself that I could sell. If I could make one sale, that was it. That was my condition. If I could do it once, then I can rinse and repeat. I can do it again. And then I'll learn every time I do it. So this section is going to really pull out a lot of our skill in selling. Because once you know the numbers you got to meet or you want to meet, it's all about how to meet them after that. And this is just math. And we know the numbers tell a story and they never lie. So our numbers are going to tell us what we need to do. And from there, we'll build the offer. So this is what you're going to encounter this week. And you can use the comments section, as students did here, you'll see, to ask questions and I'll hop in and respond. That way others can see. No question is a stupid question. So you can use this platform. You can use the WhatsApp platform. And then, of course, you can always email me. So there's several ways to engage the curriculum once you get in there. And then if you need any accountability, use the WhatsApp and let's be accountability partners. I know I use this training as well. It's the beginning of the year. So this is the perfect time for me to evaluate and reevaluate what I want to do and what I don't want to do. There was an offer I made and I was like, I don't want to sell that anymore. That was just too much work. And I don't want to do that. So I get rid of things and I try new things. And this year I'm going to be trying classes. I've never just offered classes that people can enroll in. So I'm doing different this year, and I'm going to be going through this journey just like you are in my business. So we'll all be in the same boat every week. And this is what you're going to encounter in week 1. So mindsets, goal setting, and the goal setting is really going to pull out details, concrete things that we can then take action on and build out. And as you'll see, next week we'll start to talk about what to sell. Because you got the numbers, you'll have goals. So let's start to build out what it looks like to actually create offers and how we do that. So that's what you can look forward to over the next 2 weeks. But for this week, you've got plenty. And that's like a third of the training. So let me stop the share, and we're about 6 minutes away from wrapping up. So what questions, comments, thoughts, what's coming up for you? This is a good time to share out.
Well, let's not be remiss. Happy New Year. But I think that this is really what I was looking for. This is, I think, concrete information, if you will, about and practical information, not only about the process, but about how to map your vision, with what you want to accomplish on this journey. But I think I'm going to take advantage of those personal appointments because I do have something that's a little bit more comprehensive, and I think in line with kind of what you mentioned, both of us having that Merrill experience in training, and I have some unique approaches because I do value what I've learned through AFCPE. I'm AFC certified, and now I'm encouraged, as Alexandria mentioned about FFC. I really think, and I've thought about getting the coaching certification. I know Sandra Davis really well, and I think that can be a good component to incorporate into what I do. Just a little background: the organization I work for, we won a large award that was given out by AFCPE last year, 2019, and I had a vision that has not been fulfilled within my organization. So that's a little impetus for me to stop giving them all of my great ideas and start to incorporate them into um, work that would, be a direct result of my effort and a return on that. So thank you for this time, and I'll defer. Hopefully I didn't use up the 6 minutes.
Oh, you're good. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Father. I tell you, and this is what you'll experience when people start to show up for you. It's like, does this offer make sense? Is anybody going to buy this? Do people really want to start their own thing? And then you show up and you affirm me. And it's like, God said, just be obedient, Dominique. Just do what I told you. I put the vision in your mind for a reason. If you do what I said, people will show up because I'm in control. So that's what came up for me as you were talking, Carl. It's just like, it's so beautiful that the sum of your experiences can lead to this. And now you get to show up how you want to. So I am honored to serve you, and I'm honored to show up for you. Alexandria.
Yeah, when you mentioned the school,
Oh, wait, you went out, Alexandria. Can't hear
my
you.
ears perked up because it's just highlights that there's going to be. Oh, sorry about that. Is this better?
Yeah, hear you now.
It's better. Oh, okay. Okay. No, my ears perked up because I'm going to encounter a lot of situations that, that's going to require a lot of mock conversation. And to know that you offer that service, it's even better. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things that I haven't encountered yet, but I know that to know that I have someone to bounce ideas off of and to have an space to explore those conversations is really great. So I definitely will take advantage of the time slots.
Sounds good. Yes. Oh, Delicia's here. So Delicia is a former trainee student. Welcome, Delicia. We were just wrapping up, and I did mention that some former students might join us, so thank you. Any thoughts to share?
Hey, hey.
We were just wrapping up our first session, and Carl and Alexandria are excited to take advantage of what we've got here, and they have vision. And so I was just sharing what they're going to explore with setting their goals and profit and professional and personal goals, and then the mindset piece around fear. And then I shared as well that I'm in this journey too. I have a practice, and it's the beginning of the year. So I'm going to be reevaluating my business as well and going through this journey. So as a former student, just take 30 seconds and tell us what brings you back, Delicia.
So I was actually just doing the same thing that you just said you were doing. I was sitting down and I'm like, you know what? It's the start of the new year. I need to reevaluate. What do I want to do? What do I want to do differently? So I found a notebook that had this information from the class when I took it. And then I was like, wait, Dominique said she's starting another class. And then I looked and it was today, but I couldn't find the time. So I just thought I'd hit the link and here we are.
Yeah.
So hey, I look a mess. I'm not gonna turn the video on. Hey, Alexandria and Carl.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm sure that you guys are going to gain great knowledge and inspiration from this course. Um, if anything, it'll be a great blueprint in figuring out what your next steps in business as a financial practitioner will be. So you're in great hands, and I'll jump in and out probably throughout the next 8 weeks too, because I need to fix some things out.
And that's coming from someone who didn't want a financial coaching business.
Oh, at
So
all.
I will be sharing more of Delicia's story as well. She did a great interview with me. I haven't released it yet because everything in divine order. And so you'll be able to learn a little bit more about her journey. But again, I'm so honored to serve you. In respect of your time, it's 10:01. So I'm going to stop the recording. And what will happen is